So my mom asked me if I did I eat anything, and I was pinned down. So I told her I had the sweet stuff, and so I mean, but I told her, I said, but you told me that's not food, that's garbage. So I justified eating that because it wasn't food, and so I didn't violate the sanctity of the holiday because I ate garbage and I didn't eat food, and that was like age 5. So um, over time, I was okay until high school, and I started to put on weight. My brother used to call me Thunder Thighs. I had gone to Israel for a high school in Israel program, and of my friends, I was the only one who came back heavier. All of them lost a lot of weight. When I lived alone, I hid food. That's sick. I mean, to hide food and I lived alone, and who's going to see it? Um, Fast forward, I was told by my fiance that if I didn't join um, Overeaters Anonymous, he might leave me. So I joined OA, and things were going okay. I, I I didn't get rid of the all the sweet stuff, but I planned it, and 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 I was obviously eating a whole lot less than I was eating before, so I did drop some weight, but I was still crazy. I was just batshit crazy. Excuse the expression. And I, I would never talk to anybody else the way the voice in my head spoke with me or to me. I called myself every name in the book, and I truly hated myself. I wanted an out of control Mack truck to jump the curb and take me out, and I used to pray for that. I truly hated myself, and I joined Weight Watchers prior to Overeaters Anonymous, and Weight Watchers really, really worked to make me a more compulsive overeater. And I mean, I before Weight Watchers, I didn't think when I'm eating breakfast about what I was going to have for lunch and for dinner, and then having lunch what I was going to eat for dinner, and then for breakfast, and all I could think about was food. And I, you know, and I did drop some weight, but again, I didn't have the spiritual aspect, and I was still really crazy. So it worked on just the physical, but not the spiritual, and certainly not the mental. I was crazy. Um, I tried a lot of different things, and the bottom line is I couldn't stop eating, or when I tried, I couldn't stay stopped. And um, so, fast forward in OA, I was doing better. I dropped weight. I started sponsoring. Life was really good. I had 4 sponsees, and I felt like I was really rocking it. And we had meetings, and COVID happened, and I still kept that up for a while. And then I started resting on my laurels, and I stopped doing my 10 steps, and I stopped really, well, a little extra of this isn't going to be bad. And next thing I know, I can't stop eating. And so I ended up getting involved with BBA through two-way prayer. It was kind of a circuitous way of doing it, but several of the people in my two-way prayer group were in BBA, and those were the only sane ones. The rest of us were just way out there. I mean, we were still connecting and doing two-way prayer, but it really the question was still, why can't I stop eating? Why, the advice I got was ignore time and time again and time again, and I found that the people who were saying BBA were like, oh, they were making sense. So I got involved with BBA, and I went through that twice, and I was feeling better. I was facing and working my steps, but I just couldn't put down the food. And and now I have a new BBA sponsor, and she's amazing. And she gave me the gift by telling me what she did. And I hadn't even seen her, but I could hear in her voice the enthusiasm and her zeal for life, and how she just such a mensch, such a spiritual person who loves life, and transmitted that to me. And so she told me, I'm like, well, how do you do it? And she told me about GSA, and she made it sound so appealing, like she said, Lynda, it's the last house on the block, but it's a mansion. And it's like, whoa. And she's telling me about how spiritual it is to weigh and measure your food, and how the little scale takes care of the big scale. And I'm just in awe. And mind you, I hadn't seen her yet. I still hadn't seen her. And I tried to get on to the meetings, and it just didn't work. I put in the universal code. It said universal. I typed in universal, and it didn't work. And I kept trying, and finally I reached out, and I got the code, and I was able to get on, and I found a GSA sponsor. And she said she couldn't sponsor me, but she could get me started. And I went to some of the meetings. She got me started. I had foobar after foobar, but like my first breakfast on GSA, I weighed it, and I felt really good about it. I sat down, I'm tasting, and I'm like, and my you know protein was rancid, and so that we had to take care of that. But I noticed something. I noticed that I had uh, a change. My thoughts weren't like racing, and I had a sense of serenity. And over time, it just really became clarity. And the best analogy I have is you're driving along, and you look through your windshield, and you're like, oh my God, my windshield's filthy. I gotta clean it. So you pull into the service station, you wipe down, you squeegee it off, and it's like, wow, this is so much better. But you're driving, and the sun's hitting your windshield, and you see there's like a film on the inside of your windshield. So you take out the glass cleaner, you wipe it down, it's like, wow, this is great. And then you realize, my glasses are dirty, and you clean your glasses, and now everything is clear. Everything is clear, and things they make sense. Like, wow, I can see so clearly. I can see my part. I can see why I ate. A friend of mine said, when your food is down, you feel better. And he said, you feel anger better, and frustration better, and resentment better. I might be getting the order wrong, but you definitely feel better. You feel all those emotions, because what you use to get around it is gone. And that happened, and I felt better. I felt horrible, but I felt better. But I'm working the steps. And I had some issues. My husband lost his eating buddy, and he didn't know how crazy I was, because I was not going to tell him that I just wanted to die. I mean, I don't think any husband really wants to hear that his wife just wants to die. So I didn't tell him, because I was terrified to admit it. And so when he lost his eating buddy, and I had changed all this without talking with him and giving him any kind of heads up, I was desperate, and I clung on. And um, so we ended up going for counseling, and thank God we did. It really has made a total change in my life. And just to give you an idea, he said to me before counseling, I can't support anything to do with your food program. Nothing. So, I mean, I had dropped some weight, but he couldn't say anything to encourage me because that was part of my food program.
10 minutes down, Lynda, 5 to go.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. And so he wouldn't say anything. And once we started counseling, he started like acknowledging some changes in me. My clothes fit better. I actually enjoy my meals. I mean, I'm not the best cook, so I'd say most of them are 8. Occasionally I get a 10, sometimes I get a 2. And in the past, if I had a 2, oh my God, I would get another meal. Not just another, let's say it was a protein that wasn't good. No, I had to have I deserved it, right? So you know what? There's always another meal. I don't get another meal though. I eat my food and that's when the food is done for the day, I'm done eating. Even if my husband goes back 10 times to get other things, that's not in my hula hoop. It's him. And it doesn't affect me. So we actually, some things have changed. I'm calmer. I don't have that negative chatter going on, the monkey chatters. I can't say it's gone, but it's so quiet. And when it pipes up, I can tell it to go, take a hike. I My husband said something the other day. He says, um, with your food, we need to be in Airbnbs, or but some of the places we want to go don't have Airbnbs. So we need to maybe check into this. And he showed me a camper that pops up and there's a kitchen in it. I mean, there's a bed and a bathroom, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. And then we ended up finding a different one, and we bought a recreational vehicle recently and a SUV to pull the recreational vehicle. So this is from not being willing to acknowledge and hating my program to this kind of support. This level of support is phenomenal, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Um, I'm preparing to go away for the weekend. I'm going to be gone for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, coming back late. So I am preparing all my meals so I can bring them with me. I wasn't going to check my bag, but I will check my bag. But I'm bringing extras just in case something happens. I have backup to my backup. So I am prepared. I've got half of it done, and when I get off, I'm going to work on it again. But I've talked to other people who are traveling or who travel a lot. I've gotten advice. One of my friends who I think probably would benefit from GSA, she was telling me, oh, yeah, they went on vacation and they had this sweet stuff, but it's a special occasion because they're on vacation and they deserve the treat. It's we don't always do this, and it's like, and I'm thinking, you know what, I'm so grateful that I don't treat myself like that. I nourish my body. I only put foods in it that are good for me, and there's no exception to that.
1 minute.
Thank you, Nancy. There's no exceptions. I have to say that life is so much better for me now. I'm able to shop in my closet and go to the clothes that I used to have and wear, and now I'm getting rid of the ones that are too big. and I'm getting it out of the house. I have no intention of ever needing it again. And my commitment is not to ever need it again. So I'm removing the possibility for me to use it and and let somebody who needs it more than me have it. And so I'm donating things, and that feels so much better. Um, my worst day in GSA is still better than my best day before program. The events in the Middle East in the past, I think, would have caused me to go over the just go over the edge and
Time,
eat.
Linda, thank you.
I am so grateful for this program and for each of you, and I wish each of you serenity, abstinence, and food neutrality.